we're going to tell you a little bit more than you may know about the national. We keep calling it the National Eucharistic Revival. Why is that, Deacon Matt?
It's national because it was begun by the U.S. bishops, the Bishops' Conference, and leading that is Bishop Andrew Cousins, who's also the secretary for the Committee on Evangelization and Catechesis. And if you're a fan of Sadler and attended our masterclass this year, you had a chance to hear Bishop Cousins talk about the revival and also about the document that bishops put together for the revival, which is called The Mystery of the Eucharist in the Life of the Church. It was an amazing class. All three classes were great. We had a wonderful turnout, and the feedback was awesome. So you can always check out those master classes at sallyReligion.com.
Yeah, that's good advice, good timing. You're going to hear a lot more about the Eucharistic Revival, and you may want to participate, especially early on, in some of these resources and the Sadler Masterclass was excellent. 100,000, I don't know how many people were on that.
100,000? I don't know about that.
That was a little tricky way I put that. It's hundreds or thousand. I don't know. But but the point being that you don't want to come a year, 2 years down the road and suddenly get excited about the Eucharistic revival. Right. So it's kind of like relationships. You may feel uncomfortable meeting someone, and then you've kind of been awkward around them for a couple of years and go, if I would have just stuck my hand out a couple of years ago, think of all the great things that could have happened. So it's very similar with this. Go ahead and take the initiative to learn something now so that it will be more meaningful as you progress down your Eucharistic journey.
And we've got a call to action in our second topic here to have you check out your own diocese's plans and process for Eucharistic revival, because every diocese is making them. Many of them have begun, and usually in the form of a web page or something along those lines, maybe social media blasts. But there will also eventually be gatherings and things like that. We'll talk more about that in the second topic. But this first topic is all about the origin of this. And so why don't we pull up the Eucharistic Revival website, and we'll kind of work through some aspects of it.
Yeah, let's do that. Bingo.
Ooh, that looks so nice. We look like the Brady Bunch, you and I stacked on each other like this. We got to look down. There you go. You snorted too.
I snorted too. It's so easy to entertain ourselves with this. So.
Okay, so if you haven't gone to the Eucharistic Revival page, it is just eucharisticrevival.org. It's all one word. And you'll see right on the front page mission. Well, you'll see the home page, and then at the bottom, you can click on mission, vision, and timeline, which will bring you to this page. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about the timeline, Steve?
Yeah, I'll tell you a little about it. But first, I do want to touch on the mission and the vision. The mission being to renew the church by enkindling a living relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ in the Holy Eucharist. So that sounds exciting and challenging at the same time. It sounds very mysterious. How do we do that? But that's the mission of the revival. The vision is to inspire a movement of Catholics across the United States who are healed, converted, formed, and unified by an encounter with Jesus in the Eucharist. And then they are sent out on mission for the life of the world. So very, very exciting. I love the healing, the conversion, the formation, and the unification, of God's people, and all through an encounter with Jesus in the Eucharist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you were able to catch Bishop Cousins, he has a number of videos on the homepage of this website. Or if you go to Sadly Religion to our virtual events and look at the masterclass we did with him, he's very clear that the bishops are very aware of controversial and complicated and messy this issue is of Eucharistic communion, about who can receive, who can't receive, and all of the polemics around that. So that's why there's such a stress on healing and trying to preserve unity and grow that unity. And a lot of what's going to bring people back to faith in the Eucharist is to be really honest, it's not going to be a document. It's going to be people's witness of faith, their own stories about how the Eucharist has been a source of healing, how the Eucharist has become something they can't live without, and the invitation from people like that, from people like you and me. This revival is a call to action for all of the baptized faithful. It's not just a program that the dioceses and parishes will run in the name of the Bishops' Conference. So be ready in the next, few years to really give a witness to your faith in the Eucharist and to be a person who invites others to come back to Jesus in the Eucharist.
Yeah, and I really love the focus on, there's been so much emphasis on teaching, and this is obviously founded on teaching, and we'll talk a little bit about the history behind the Eucharist and I don't want to, spoiler alert, I don't want to ruin the rest of the show tonight, but
It's ruined. It's
but
ruined now.
but it's an opportunity for people to get together and have an experience together, and that, I think, the vision shifts a bit from what is the teaching and what do we believe to how do we experience this, and how can it make a difference in my life. So that's kind of what the bishops have envisioned for us, and this is going to kick off here very shortly, June 19th, 2022. So that would be this coming Sunday, I believe, right, Deacon Matt?
Feast of Corpus Christi, I believe.
Okay. So
We'll
I think
talk about that a little later.
Spoiler alert. So
Let's continue down the timeline.
let's keep going. June 11th, 2023. So what's happening then?
Well, it says Year of Parish Revival. Now, there's, as you can see on the webpage, it's kind of sparse in terms of the content for it. And part of the reason for that is the bishops want to have this like organic creation of what the parishes do during that year specifically. Like they want buy-in from the parishes. They don't want to position themselves as telling dioceses or parishes, here's what you need to be doing. The bishop's the head of the diocese and the pastor's the head of the parish, and there needs to be respect for another important Catholic teaching, subsidiarity, where the local takes care of local problems, and the local, in this case, takes care of local evangelization. So it's sparse for that reason, but there will be, I'm sure, coming from the USCCB, like things that will help parishes and to form teams and committees and get ready to do some evangelization around the Eucharist. There will be support and resources coming from the Bishops' Conference to support parishes.
Right. So that kicks it off, and then we have this year of parish revival, and then we move forward into July of 2024 with the National Eucharistic Congress.
I don't know anything about that. I don't know who the keynotes are, but I can almost guarantee that Steve Angrisamo is going to play guitar, because that guy is at every USCCB.
For good reason, too.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out his music, you go on YouTube and check it out.
Yep.
Steve Angrisano.
Like
I agree. I think he'll be there, right? So this is 2 years out from now, and obviously a lot of planning to take place before this happens. But we're just sort of trying to unfold what this revival includes, and this is a multi-year initiative. And then we move into the National Year of Mission, where I think if you were listening or just a few minutes ago, the vision and the mission ultimately is that we take, what we've experienced, the Christ that we've encountered through the Eucharist, and we're prepared to go out and share that gift with others.
Now, two important groups to identify during this revival are Eucharistic preachers, and they are listed somewhere on that website. I'm not sure where they are. And then Eucharistic missionaries. Do you remember back when we did when Francis called the Jubilee Year of Mercy, and he created this order of missionaries of mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, he extended their mandate beyond that Jubilee year to be an indefinite one. So these guys are still operating as missionaries of mercy, doing some sort of reconciliation ministry, around the world. So sort of like that, we have Eucharistic missionaries that are going to be trained and formed so that they can teach and evangelize about the Eucharist in your diocese or parish. And the number is staggering. So what we heard Bishop Cousins say during the master class was that there will be 100, now we're not messing up 100 and 1,000 here, 100,000 Eucharistic missionaries. That is a ton. That's a ton. And one of the things they're going to do to get ready is take a Eucharistic renewal track that is hosted by Franciscan University's Catechetical Institute. And I'm calling that in a special way because Sadlier has formed a partnership with Franciscan University. You can check out a cool Catechesis podcast that I host with the Catechetical Institute Associate Director, Bill Keimig. Check that out at Sadlier Religion. But we formed this new partnership and we sponsor that Eucharistic renewal track that will help to train those 100,000 Eucharistic missionaries.
How exciting is that?
Very.
That's very exciting.